Hi, everyone. Welcome to Herren Project Live. I am your host, Kevin Michael Azik. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. We have an amazing show lined up for you tonight. We have Sue Cunningham, and then we also have Cathy Andreozzi, and then we also have our own Angie Tibbetts, who is our recovery coordinator here at Herren Project. So we're excited to have all three. All three of them have amazing, impactful stories. Couple related Herren Project announcements. Annual appeal, which was a huge success last year in July, will be starting again on July 1st of this year with a theme of Seeds of Hope. And our annual day of giving will be July 15th this year. So put that in your calendar, and more will be coming through social media, through the mail, and also through email marketing. Also, our Seeds of Hope virtual race, which will be going along in conjunction with the annual appeal. Registration for that will begin on June 22nd. And there'll be some great prizes and different ways you can get involved and participate in that. Also, we've launched several new support groups. Our support groups have been extremely busy over the last few months. Our numbers are bigger than ever, and the need is greater than ever. So we've listened and we've added more support groups. Our own Patrick Balsley will be hosting 2 additional parental support groups. Those are live on our website now, so you can sign up for those. Those will begin the actual group next week. I believe they're on Monday and Tuesday. And then also we have the return of the Purple Couch. That is going to be hosted by us. Student engagement specialist, Izzy B. Also her co-host, Eric Daddario, and that is going to be geared towards students. It will be a live interactive show where kids can ask questions and learn about healthy ways to cope with stress and other life issues, and also in a fun, supportive environment. So those are the Herren Project related announcements. Also trying to grow my mustache. So if you could put in the comments if you like the mustache or not. My daughter apparently likes the mustache, so I told her I would try. So our first guest tonight is Sue Cunningham, and her son Liam lost his battle with addiction back in 2016. And since then, they've taken something so tragic that no family should face and turned it into something positive. Liam had created an anchor, and I don't want to tell the whole story. So I'm actually going to bring in Sue right now so she can actually tell it. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Kevin. Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us. So I know I was kind of mentioning it that, your son Liam lost his battle with addiction in 2016, and I'm always taken back and really humbled and inspired when families take such a tragic loss and turn it into something, positive that is going to help others on their journey to recovery. So can you tell us a little bit about Liam and about the anchor and how that came about?
Sure. It's hard for me to really talk about Liam in a sort of short format. He was a really great baby, little boy, young adult, and as you expressed, he was taken from us far too soon. Liam was a quirky, goofy, loving, kind person who really just, everyone loved him. He was charismatic, and all through his life he had this thread of just deep kindness. An example that my husband told in his eulogy was when Liam was a first grader, and the Hoyts, Dick and Rick Hoyt, came to his first grade auditorium to have an assembly, and all the children and the teachers were able to go up and greet them. And so one by one, the kids went up, and Liam, none of the others, but Liam reached over and touched Rich's hand on his way across the stage. And the teacher and my mother witnessed this, didn't see even any other adults do such a thing. And that sort of personifies Liam's nature. As he got older, he had jobs in the nonprofit sector, which I can talk about a little later. But his greatest endeavor was Liam's what is now called Liam's Anchor. At the time, he marketed it as Cunningham. He designed an anchor with the arms in the shape of the cape, both sides. Sorry, I just got a personal chat there. That's funny. And he was able, with a friend, to make hats and T-shirts and sell them at the Wellfleet flea market for 2 summers. And his entrepreneurship, he just thrived. And they sold them to support the Cape Cod Veterans Association. So after we lost Liam, there was still some merchandise, and a sister and a brother of mine last summer saw the hat on my dad. My dad wore one of the original hats to a party and said, you really should do something with the anchor. And over time, my husband had a colleague who had been involved with the Herren Project, and we learned about it, and here we are. We sell them now for the net proceeds going to the Herren Project. We've sold approximately 400 to benefit the project, and it's been a really, really meaningful project for us, just to help others, to potentially help, other families that are in this terrible situation. And it's very rewarding for us to see this grow and become so meaningful.
And one of the things that, when you were talking about Liam, was his desire to serve others, working in a nonprofit. And, I think we've gotten better as a society with the stigma of addiction. But, one of the characteristics I see in people who are struggling, people in recovery, is this innate desire to want to help others. And it's something that I think gets lost in the shuffle. We often focus on the negative aspect of addiction, but people who struggle and people in recovery are some of the most amazing, loving, thoughtful, caring people in the world. And it really sounds like Liam was that, personified that.
Yes, he did. My husband wants me to show his picture.
Absolutely.
This is Liam, and actually he's at the flea market. Huh.
Let me get myself out of there.
How's that? Great. So again, it was a dream, and he, I'm sure, was going to expand upon it as he got older.
Well, I think the beauty of this is that you've taken that dream for him and have propelled it forward in a meaningful, impactful way. And I think that is amazing. And you and your husband and your whole family are just unbelievably strong and courageous for doing that. a lot of people have that courage to do that.
Thank you. I think it feels different than strength and courage. It's like a connection to our child that, as I say, gives us solace. Truly.
Yeah, and it probably doesn't feel like that to you, but from an outsider looking in, you are filled with courage that most people don't have. It takes a tremendous amount of it to be able to, because this continually brings it up. It brings up, that he's no longer with you. But the flip side of that is it's doing something powerful that is helping so many. And, a lot of families just don't have that courage. They want to, put their head in the sand and not think about it and kind of sweep it under the rug. But you guys have stepped out and done something impactful with something so tragic.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I know we're the Liam Anchor web hats are on the website. We're having some stock issues right now just with our provider down in North Carolina, but they are working to get them back in stock as fast as possible. I wish I would have had a picture of one. Do you have one near you?
Yeah, I have 3.
Perfect. We need a live model. You got to model it live.
Oh, right. I think it's better if I do it this way because then you can see the anchor. There's the gray one. There's the white one. Boy, that looks blue in the camera. It's definitely a purple. And here's the black one. These 3 are currently on the Herren Project website. Also, you can go to, there we go. You can go to liamsanchor.com. Liam's girlfriend, Sarah Lambert, put together our website, and it's wonderful. The link to the products goes right to the Herren Project page. So that's another amazing contribution from his girlfriend.
And if you do order one, you will get it sooner or later. Like I said, due to COVID, there has been some delays with shipping and getting stuff back into stock, but they are starting to straighten that out. Sue, anything else you want to, share with us? Tell us about Liam, or just.
Yeah, I think I really love to think about what he did as a young man for his work. He wrote for Spare Change newspaper, which is a organization in Boston where the vendors are homeless and they keep the proceeds from their sales to help better their lives. He wrote for them from middle school through college. He took his first job out of college at Cradles to Crayons, another nonprofit organization that provides school supplies, clothing to children in need in Boston. And then he moved on to Good Sports, another nonprofit that provides sporting goods, equipment to communities in need all across the country. So those were some of his passions: homeless, the disadvantaged, children, and he was just the light of our lives, and I miss him terribly.
Do you have any other advice maybe for other parents who are in a similar situation, of kind of how you've gotten through it and continue to get through it? I told you no tough questions. I guess that was kind of a tough question.
It's a tough question because I think it's different for every parent. We have found a support group live, well, not right now, but a support group that is all parents who have lost children to substance use disorder. We've found that. My husband has his own group called Fathers Forever that has been extraordinarily helpful. And then really it's, friends, family, people don't shy away from saying his name. We talk about him quite a lot. His friends from, childhood, the girlfriend, they've been really wonderful and staying in touch with us. So I think it's to kind of just hold on to all that, the humanity, all of the good that one can find in humanity. And
what you share with us about Liam is, there's so much to celebrate about his life and the good that he put into this world, and how he put his hand out and reached out to others that were in need is something I think you do want to keep going, because those are memories, and that was Liam, and that's what he stood for. And we are honored and privileged to be a small part of you guys keeping Liam alive. It's it's a responsibility that we take very seriously, and we will do our best to help people with the funds that are being raised, and so other families may be in a position where they don't have to face this. But I love the fact that you guys are out there and you're still celebrating his life and the impact that he had in the world all around them. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I just want to say, I know you were nervous, but you absolutely crushed it, hit it out of the park.
Thank you.
And you are a courageous, courageous woman, and grateful just to know you and be able to share this small amount of time with you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. That was touching, to say the least. I'm always amazed at the courage it takes to do something like that, and to take a situation that none of us would ever want to face and turn it into something so positive, so meaningful, so impactful that it's going to, Liam will, and his memory will live on forever. So for that, I'm grateful to be just a small part of that. Up next, we have Angie Tibbetts, who is our recovery coordinator. She's been at Herren Project, I think, about a year and a half, but she is definitely part of our all-star crew. She works day in, day out with placing people that reach out for help. She also manages the Recovery Housing Scholarship Program and a bunch of other things. So I'm going to bring Angie in. Hi, Angie.
How are you?
I'm good. So how long you've been with us? How long? About a year and a half, right?
Yeah, close. It's almost 2 years, I think.
Wow. It's a long time. Surprised you made it that long.
Me too.
I hear I'm tough to work for. So what's your favorite part about working with individuals looking for help, looking to get to treatment, looking to take the next step?
It's definitely the connection. I like the interaction, the one-on-one, being able to be available, but also to identify with them. It keeps my recovery up front. It takes me back, and I remember those days, you know. So just being able to be available and to guide them to live a better life and hopefully inspire them and get them to where they need to be.
And it's a skill, and it's because you're getting so much thrown at you, and not every situation is the same. There's a lot of different factors to consider. So can you kind of talk us through, what the process looks like for someone that reaches out?
So typically what we get is like completely broken people that have, relapsed several times. It's hard for them to get into detox. They've left, they came back, they've tried all kinds of stuff. Their families don't want anything to do with them. Sometimes they don't have any resources at all. They'll reach out to us, and that's when I'm able to like assess and talk to them and identify and, give them some hope. Bring their current situation to the team and try to get them, a scholarship to be able to go to a treatment center. I think the biggest thing we like to look for is like the longest amount of treatment, to take care of them and like walk them all the way through it and be able to provide sober living scholarships with a recovery coach and like make them feel like they're a part of the Herren Project family. They're not just a referral to going to some random place that we don't know about.
And I think that's one of the things I love about how we work with individuals and families is, and I've talked about it before, is kind of this idea of working with people on this journey to recovery, because it's a crisis. It's, a lot of times they don't know what to do. They've been met with resistance. They haven't had people advocating for them, so it's kind of, talk about that aspect of it, of really like walking with them on their journey, what that looks like.
Yeah, they lost so much hope that they don't even have the energy or the thought process to call themselves to see if there's a bed available. And when you have that conversation with them and you connect with them, it builds strength and courage for them to be able to get up and follow through with what we're doing. It makes them, I feel like it builds a sense of trust, right? And it gets them to be able to get up and walk. Like, just all I have to say is like, give me your hand. Give me a hand and I will take you through this 100%. Just where's your willingness? What are you willing to do? They don't have certain choices to go wherever they want. And I think like once they surrender to all that and they really want the help, like, I think that's where the family part comes in,
And can you talk a little bit about, because oftentimes it's the family that reaches out first. So kind of how you handle that and what we do.
So families are, they're sad, they're sad for me. But it also gives me strength and it remembers like what I did to my family. So I have compassion and empathy for them, and I listen to them, and then sometimes like I'll share a part of my story, and then I'll share where I'm at today and give them some hope. And I encourage them to go to our family support groups and tell them like this is a family disease and you need to work on yourself just like your loved one needs to work on them. Everybody needs to, be in recovery and on the same page for this to work and to last.
Yeah, surely they have to, they each have their own recovery journey and they kind of need to walk on parallel paths, so the person that's struggling gets the help they need and also the family. So you've been in recovery, you just celebrated 6 years, right?
8.
Kurish. Oh, way off. Can you talk a little bit about, what recovery has meant to you and how it's benefited you?
I was very resistant, wanted to control everything. I knew what was best for me. No, I didn't have trust for other people. I feel like recovery has changed me so much. Like an old timer told me, like, you need to change everything but your name. And, I fought that for a few months while in treatment. And then finally I surrendered and let go and just started listening. And the more and more I listened and seen the action behind their suggestions, the more I gained trust. Today, I am completely different person. I would never be able to be available. I never was able to, participate in family things. I was always like, yeah, I'm working, I'm busy, I'm this. And today, like I'm available for my niece and my nephew and my sister and my mom. I can trust people today. I'm able to love myself enough to understand what a relationship is with other people, not just like, a boyfriend type thing, but with like friends. Um, I'm not afraid now to reach out for help. Before, I had such pride and ego that wasn't a thing. I wasn't going to ask you for help. I was just going to figure it out on my own. Um, but the biggest thing I think recovery taught me would be to like just pause, because I still have those old thoughts and feelings. Those thoughts and feelings in the obsession, I don't think for me, it's not, it doesn't go away. Is it more a fleeing thought or pass by than it consumes me the whole day? It's lighter, but I'm able to recognize that it's, not a good thought, or it's, I'm obsessing, and I'm able to pause and I'm able to breathe and I'm able to take myself out of the situation and understand today that I don't need to provide a reaction right away. I can sit on things, and I have choices today, and I can really think about something before I agree or disagree. Am I perfect? Do I have outbursts? Do I sometimes say things that I definitely don't mean? Absolutely. But I feel like I have more control now than I ever did before recovery.
Wow, you go. What were you all nervous for? You've been crushing it.
You know how I get. So that's one thing that I think like a lot of us suffer from is anxiety, right? And I was saying to my friend, like, there's no reason for me to be scared or upset. I'm explaining like the way I feel and what's going on, and in a mission that I believe in truly, in a place that I love to work for. And I can sit here and tell myself all this to calm myself down, but I have no control of the way my body feels. All I can do is acknowledge that my body is vibrating and I just want to jump out of it. So it's really hard that's one thing I struggle with a lot is anxiety.
Join the club.
Right. Yeah, we all, right? We all do.
Who's the best boss you've ever had?
You're the second best boss. You are. No, you are. I love working for you. I think the biggest connection we had right off the bat is like you gave me that sense of like you trusted me. You don't micromanage me, and you allow me to be me. And with me being able to be me, I'm able to stay in the solution and help out everybody that's calling us for help. I appreciate that a lot about you. It feels good to know that, you trust me to be able to lead the front end of things.
I mean, you literally have probably the most important job in the organization. That's how we started, was getting people help, and it's grown to levels I couldn't even imagine possible. I see all the requests coming in on a daily basis, and it's just mind blowing the amount of impact, the amount of people we're assisting, and just the level of support and understanding and care that we're providing to people.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that, for all you do.
Thank you for allowing me to do it.
Now get back to work. That's what I always say.
Make it happen. Butts and seats, airplanes. I got this.
But you're a rock star. We're grateful for you, for all that you do for us and the people we serve. So thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
Goodbye. All right. Up next, we have Cathy Andreozzi. She started the Tori Lynn Andreozzi Foundation. Back, her daughter was hit by a drunk driver and survived, but has had some struggles relating to that accident. The Herren Project has been extremely fortunate to be able to be a recipient of some of the funds that they raise. So I'm going to bring in Cathy. Hi, Cathy.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I was getting a little nervous that you were going to leave me at the altar.
No, I was just really engrossed just listening to everybody. I forgot to click the last button.
Awesome.
And usually I'm a button pusher, so.
No doubt you are. You are definitely a strong woman, and Herren Project is grateful, for the support that you have given us. So can you kind of take us back to the beginning and kind of what happened with your daughter and kind of how you started down this path?
Yeah, absolutely. We certainly, this was not part of my 5-year plan, but in 2003, my daughter was struck by a hit-and-run drunk driver. She and her brother had just gotten off of their school bus, and they were making the short walk home from school. Somehow we've come to think that we'll hear about things like that 2 o'clock in the morning on 95, but a poor choice can happen at any time. This was 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a neighborhood road. And as I said, Tori was struck by that hit-and-run drunk driver. She was left at the side of the road. And unfortunately, this little 12-year-old girl who was really like the glue that held all of her friends together. She was a pretty bright young woman. She told some pretty corny jokes. She was a straight A student, not because it came really easy, but because she worked really hard at it. And she was this world champion martial artist. And she told some pretty corny jokes. She gave some great hugs. And she was someone who took care of everyone. She really just had this personality that she reached out to people. She had this affinity for the underdog. And at 12 years old, her favorite movie was Pay It Forward. And in the moment that she was struck from behind by that car, everything changed. And Tori went from the young woman that I described to someone who was totally dependent on others. She was so broken from the shoulders up and the hips down. And it took a really long time before we knew that Tori would even survive. And ironically, or cruelly, actually, on the day that we found out that she would survive and that the doctors could tell us how long it would take for her bones to heal or the pins to be removed, they also told us they didn't know how much or if recovery she would get from the brain injury. And so here we are 17 years later, and Tori is soon to be a 30-year-old young woman. She will turn 30 in September. And she really did fool everyone. She survived where no one thought that she would. And she actually has thrived. But she still doesn't walk, doesn't talk, doesn't eat. And it's been a long, difficult haul for sure, but we still have Tori. And we always believe that with life, there's hope. But Tori has this indomitable spirit, and it really shines through. And certainly in the very beginning, what held us together was a community, and it was all of the people around us, and whether it were prayers or fundraisers for our family and for Tori's care and for her recovery. I just kept thinking that we were so fortunate to be surrounded and have people who, really stepped up and gave of themselves. And I kept thinking, when it's our turn, we'll do the same. And the fact that her favorite movie was Pay It Forward just told us what we needed to do. And so we did it. And so Tori to this day still gives. And so she gives through her foundation. And that was the impetus. That was where it was born. And so the foundation has these 4 words that really are what we are built on. And it's choices, moments, courage, and hope. And so the idea that recognizing there's a choice in every moment, and that you find the courage to make a difference, which sustains hope for the future. And it's a good philosophy.
And you've taken that message now into prisons, right?
Yes. We've had the honor to be part of something called the Zero Fatalities Project. It started in 2007, and it's this really well-balanced program where it has, it's part of the Attorney General's office. There's so many stakeholders in safety that are part of it, but there is someone from the Attorney General's office that speaks. There are young men and women who've made a really poor choice behind the wheel. And then there are also victim family members who get to share probably one of the worst or the worst choice in their life that has changed their life on either side of that choice. And so I have the opportunity to speak to young people directly there. And actually, COVID has certainly changed the way we've been interacting and giving the message. But, I've been Zooming a lot of driver's ed classes lately. But certainly prevention has been a big part of what we do.
So each year you do a big fundraiser, right? You do the comedy show.
Yes. Well, so one of the things that we truly believed in is that everybody needs a purpose. And one of the things that really struck me with the Herren Project was finding your why. And I can tell you a little story about Tori that will tie everything together. But my son, who unfortunately passed away 2 years ago, was a personal trainer. And when we were in the funeral home and people were coming through giving their condolences, so many people said that he changed their life, that he was such a mentor and such a coach, and that he gave them so much to hold on to with, the inspiration that he gave them. So fitness was such a big part of him. And certainly I wanted to do something to honor him. And then we had Tori's Foundation, and that was rooted in education and substance abuse. And it was like this wonderful marriage to kind of come together. And so we had Rob's Wellness Fund. And because of Herren's Project and the idea of, find your why, we thought that we could raise money and that we knew it would be in good hands if we gave it to Herren, and that they could use it as a scholarship for those in recovery who would like to use it for wellness, to help them on their path. And so we had this really great comedy fundraiser where some wonderful comedians donated their time, and we were able to raise $10,000. The first year, we were able to give $10,000 from the generosity of people in memory of my son. So altogether at this point, $20,000 has been raised.
And that's an incredible amount of money with an awful lot of meaning behind it that we are extremely grateful to receive, and to be able to put that to work to help people on their journey through, to recovery. So, I mean, it's pretty mind-blowing kind of what you've been through, and, especially, you had one tragedy and then, years later, another one would hit. How have you found the strength and to keep moving forward and doing what you do on a daily basis to be of service to others?
Well, there's a pair of brown eyes that look at me each day. And Tori certainly is part of the inspiration. My son and daughter-in-law have a beautiful little baby girl. Well, she's going to be 4 years old soon, and that's the other. But as parents, we fix things. And certainly there's a lot I can't fix, but you just keep trying. And if there's something that you can prevent for another family, then that's what you try and do.
Yeah, I mean, tonight has been, a night of woman with a tremendous amount of courage, starting with Sue and, what she has gone through. And then even Angie, she's been through a lot and persevered and come out the other side of it. And, you with everything that you have been through, and the amount of passion that you have for, sharing that story and turning it into a vehicle that helps others is so courageous and so mind-blowing. I look at myself and, I hope I would react the same and do the same if I was in that situation. So thank you so much for your courage.
Thank you. We all have a story. And though we may not have a choice sometimes on what brought us here, we have a choice on how we react to it and what we do from there.
And I think that advice you just gave is something that we can all use. But I think even right now in our current, circumstances, with just the way, with COVID and everything else going on, we can only be responsible for how we react to something.
And it doesn't mean it's easy for certain. I had said I would tie it together with a story of Tori's. When she was 12, just a couple weeks before the crash, she had asked me to take her to the mall. She had found out that someone was ill, and she wanted to get this young girl something. She wanted to get her a pocket angel or a worry stone. And there was a kiosk in the mall. And as Tori got to the register, instead of one pocket angel, she had dozens. And I remember saying to her, Tori, seriously, you're 12 years old. Do you know that many people who have issues? And she looked me straight in the eye and she said, Mom, sometimes we all need something to hold on to. And I'll never forget that. And, it's true. We all need something to hold on to, and we all need a goal, and we all need something to focus on. And sometimes it's, our loved ones. Sometimes it's, a personal goal, something that we want for ourselves, something that we can shoot for. And sometimes it's, just wanting to make the world a better place, one goal, one step, one person at a time, one project, one recovery. And, it helps to put your feet on the floor in the morning.
And that's one person, one family is kind of another motto that we kind of use at Herren Project. It's, when you think about making change or, helping someone change their life, or, it happens just in the simplest form, just helping one person, one family at a time. And over the days, months, years, it grows into bigger numbers, but the formula doesn't change. It's you help the person that's right in front of you right now and do everything that you can to walk with them. And it's a privilege to be part of someone's journey. And this show tonight has been an extreme privilege for me, just to kind of be surrounded by you and Sue, and just the amount of courage and passion that you guys have. It's pretty humbling. So I am grateful for this opportunity to talk with you. We as an organization are grateful for the support from your foundation, and I think more importantly, the people we serve are grateful for that support and your generosity, which I know comes through a lot of different people donating to the foundation, but know that we are extremely grateful to be the recipient of it, and we'll do everything in our power to maximize it and really walk with people on their journey to recovery and wellness. So thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything you want to say in closing?
No, thank you. I'm just really proud to be part of it. And I really feel as though Rob and Tori would be proud to have their names associated with it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You are an amazing, courageous woman, and enjoy the rest of your night. And hopefully I'll see you soon.
All right, Kevin, thank you. You take care.
You as well. God bless.
You too. Bye.
All right, everyone. I think that goes without saying. I think for me personally, this was probably the most impactful Herren Project Live that I've done. The amount of courage shown here tonight is extraordinary. And I'm just humbled to be a small part of it. So just a couple quick announcements. Once again, if you weren't on earlier, annual appeal, which was an amazing success last year, will launch July 1st. The annual day of giving is July 15th. The Seeds of Hope virtual race, which will be going on in conjunction with the annual appeal, which will give you an opportunity to get involved and help us raise money. The registration for that will be open on June 22nd. We have new support groups up on the website. Patrick Balsley is hosting 2 parental support groups, and registration is open for that. Those are done through the Zoom platform, and those will be starting next week. And don't forget the Purple Couch with Izzy B starting June 19th, which will be available on YouTube. So thank you all so much for staying on tonight. It really has been an amazing show. And yeah, I only got 1 vote for the mustache. So if you like the stash, give me a vote, see if to keep it. But thank you all. Be well, stay safe, and God bless.